This is
Hello,
the vibe.
everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, here to continue with episode 2 of the Traitors USA season 3 and on to episode 3 to recap here with Mel B. Nail in a Coffin. How is it going, Mel B?
Oh my gosh.
You like an hour and a half ago.
A couple hours ago. You know, it feels like a different day. It's just, I put on my Instagram, I was like, I did real estate in the morning and then we podcasted and then I watched TV and then we did it again. And then I showed more houses. Like it's just 10 seasons in a day kind of a situation. But I'm excited. I'm happy I'm caught up and sad that there's nothing else to watch.
I mean, you can catch up on the UK because UK is very good. Apparently, episode 6 dropped. So it's if you just need to get your fix, you got some Traitors UK to watch.
I'm good with like when I say nothing to watch, there's lots to watch. I mean, I want more. Like I'm invested now in these characters, in these people, in this season, and I want to watch it all.
Yes, I wish that the whole season kind of dropped, even though I don't want it to end. But like I want to know what happened. This cliffhanger worked because I'm like, oh, I really want to see another episode.
So good. And we have to wait like a week.
Well, the last at least, right?
Listen, I'll catch up on the UK. I'm 3 episodes behind. I'll catch up on that. Then we got Dondi. That's going to be like right before. We got stuff. We're good. We're fine.
We are good. What else? Oh, and you don't watch Love Island All Stars. I think that starts soon too.
I may watch that. I did watch Love Island last season. I binged a bunch of it. Like I was like super far behind. So I was able to binge episodes. And then once I caught up and I had to like wait a little longer, I was uninterested and I dropped off. But I got really close to the end of that. And I thought it was hilarious. It was the dumbest thing I've ever been addicted to, if that makes sense. Like I loved, but I know that sounds so bad. I loved watching it, but as I was watching it, I was like, what is this show? Like, I just thought it was ridiculous, but so addictive.
Well, I originally stumbled onto Love Island UK, like almost 10 years, like so long ago. I literally searched in Google and I was like, I want to watch a love show in the United Kingdom, in England. Like I want to watch, and it popped up and I'm like, oh, what's Love Island? And it was on season 3. So I started watching season 3 in the middle of the season. I was like, wait, this is very good. And so I went back to the beginning of season 3 and I caught up and then I was watching it in real time. And I was like you, I was like, oh no, I need more. So I went back to season 1, watch all 50 or whatever, 40 episodes of those, and then watch all 50 something episodes of season 2. And then since then I've been on track with Love Island UK. And I was kind of like, in 2018 is when I think was when it came to the US and everybody was like, oh my God, have you seen this show? And I was like, that's so like 3 or 4 years ago. I've been watching this one since like nobody in the North America knew about it.
Yeah.
But now obviously it's a huge success here also. But I have to say I watched it before it was cool.
Listen, you deserve the credit for it because 10 years ago I wouldn't have even thought about it. But it's just, I don't know.
I'm exaggerating a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, it was good though. Like I was surprised at how much I liked it because you know me, I don't love the love show. You know what? I say that, but I'm obsessed with Love Is Blind. But I think that's like a wild concept. Love Island just had me kind of like, why? Like that was as I was watching it, I just kept going, no, that's not gonna work. This is no good. That's no good. And then I'd be like, did he just say that to her? Like,
wait, so which Love Island did you watch?
The most recent one. Like I got fully invested of US, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The one with
All Stars is actually UK, so you probably won't be interested because they're previous players from the UK.
Right. But is it just as unhinged as US? Because that's what I enjoyed. I enjoyed the craziness.
It will be just as unhinged because all of them are kind of celebrities now. So it's kind of like Celebrity Love Island. Like they've all been on the show. They've all have brand deals and they're on, like, you know what I mean? They've already made a name for themselves after. Okay. And so they're coming back to find love again.
It's like perfect.
Lots of exes are going on there. Like people that met on the show and dated are coming back on it.
Oh, that's going to be interesting. I mean, listen, I will not say no to anything at this point because shows that I thought I would hate have just surpassed my expectations. So I'm on board. I'm going with the flow.
I think Love Island is great. Olivia, I have to disagree. I do not like Love Island Australia. I haven't even watched all. There's like 2 seasons that I half watched. I watched the most recent one, season 6, and it was okay. But I realize I'm not a fan of Australians as a big gross statement. Like it's a blanket statement, I know, but I just don't find their humor funny. Like I'm a Brit girl, right? Like my dad was born in England, my family's from England, so like I'm more Brit vibes. I'm just not an Aussie girl. So just saying. But
Well, I'll pick up for you, Australia. I love your shows, but I didn't see that one. I did like Traitors Australia though. I thought that was wild.
Yeah, I know. I like Traitors Australia, but not the best. But like, yeah, Australian Survivor. Do you know what? They're you're good there. I love a lot. Have you? Oh no, you haven't seen it. Why am I asking you?
Come on.
There's 2 really good seasons of Australian Survivor. Like they're all actually very, 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 very good. But if you watch the first, I guess there's only one. I think there's a second one coming. But Brains versus Brawn, and then watch Heroes versus Villains.
Okay.
If you want to watch 2 seasons of excellent Survivor.
Okay.
Better than Survivor US. Right now, Survivor Australia is better than Survivor US, in my opinion.
I feel like that happens so often where like the mainstream ones that we're familiar with, you watch the other countries and you're like, where has this been hiding? Like the way that Big Brother Canada hit, like I held out for a lot of years before I started watching it. And when I started watching Big Brother Canada, it was like, why did I wait so long? Because I just thought that it was more exciting and more cutthroat than the States one, you know?
I do like Sophie Monk. She's funny. She's like goofy and like very pretty, but also very goofy. I do like her as the host, but just in general, I'm not a big fan of Australians. A show that I waited too long to watch was Drag Race. I didn't start watching till like season 7 or something. I'm like, what is it? I don't know what it is. Like I didn't know what it was about or anything. And then someone explained. I was like, oh, okay, let me catch up. And then I caught up, and I was like, obviously, this is one of the best shows on TV.
So
very silly.
I still have yet to see. I know I'm going to create so many enemies right now. I've still have yet to see a season of Drag Race. However, I did see one advertised right before Traitors that's on Crave right now.
Season 17 just started.
No, it's not a drag race, but it's Drag Race contestants. Slaycation.
Oh, with Candy Muse and stuff like that. Yes.
That looks so. I saw the preview and I was like, I'm gonna have to watch this. I don't know any of the people, but it looks
would be more fun if you knew the people, probably. But yeah, it's probably gonna be a nice train wreck. Dreadful Ruby wants to watch Dragons, but don't know where to start.
You know what? Really, season 1 US.
I mean, I just need to have the box set. You know, like
yeah.
I need to know what happened in the beginning, the middle, the end. Like I just can't start something in the middle. So.
I'm very much like I could pull the card from the middle of the deck and figure it out. I'm like, let's go random. You give me like a wheel. Let's spin the wheel and just haul one out and I'll start there. Like very much.
I mean, if it's like maybe like kind of like what I did with Love Island. Is I watched the show that I started watching currently, and then simultaneously go back and catch up. There's no way that I couldn't go back and catch up. That's why I don't know how you're gonna deal with Survivor, because like I would have to go back and catch up on all the seasons.
So okay, like most people start their year with their goals. They're like, I want to lose weight, I want to like get organized, I want to do this, I want to do that. One of my goals for this year is to watch every single season of Survivor.
That you could do it in a year if you just kind of if you mapped it out and like just put like a little bit of a schedule going.
I got like 2 or 3, seasons in now, so I'm like, okay,
maybe to keep you on task. After every season, you come on and you tell me about what your thoughts of the season are. So like that keep you on schedule.
Do you know how many people I have been bothering? Like, well, not a lot, but there's a couple of the guys that I work with and David Bloomberg, basically. These three people that I just keep texting, or I was when I was watching those seasons, and I'd be like, oh my God, this is so-and-so, and this is happening now. And oh, there was one episode where a bug crawled in this girl's ear.
Oh my God, that's like mortifying.
I had a hard time with that. Like it still stuck with me, but yes, let's do that.
Oh, right. Well, we're not here to talk about every other show. We're here to talk about the Traitors, which is, this season, they're doing a very, very good job. So far. We left off talking about how Boston Rob has said a couple times now, revenge is a dish best served cold.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that every player had a shield, like those players that are coming into the game had a shield. I didn't realize that they were going to be safe from the banishment and the murder for the first round. Did they say that explicitly? Because I only heard it after.
He said they'll be safe from both murder and banishment. Well, when they were introduced to the cast, he said they'll be safe from murder and banishment, but they also won't get to vote at the round table.
Right. Okay.
That was the stipulation. So they basically, that's a freaking cool position to come in. You're just coming in, getting to know everybody, and then you're at the round table just getting to watch without being at risk. You know what I mean? And you also don't have to vote for anybody to show your cards or create enemies. Like, I think that's...
And it's also good that they're able to, at the round table, not say anything, just gauge how people are acting, reacting, especially for Rob, who's going to have to assimilate being a traitor. You know, he doesn't have to say anything to incriminate himself at this point. Like, he gets to just watch, see how everybody's acting, see what the dynamics are without being any sort of influence in the dynamics.
It's like they get a study session before they have to take the test.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's a very great advantage for them, even though they're a little bit disadvantaged still. So we see everybody putting coins in Boston Rob's slot. I didn't really understand why they were focusing on one or the other.
Sorry, my brain, I was just so confused. I was like, we talked about this, but we never. That's where we cut off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how it's been another episode, Chantele. It took me a minute. Okay.
I know.
They're all trying to get
back in the past.
Okay. All right, I'm here.
So I didn't understand why they were like, could they not have filled up the other people's coins and then nobody would have gotten the shield and they wouldn't have come in the game?
It was really confusing. I mean, I should have checked before we jumped on, but I don't know why. Like, first they're all like, well, we definitely want Boston Rob on here. So everybody just started filling his up. And I'm like, if the point is to get all three of them, or all three of them are going to get there anyway, like, I just didn't understand the concept. Like,
so it must have been, I mean, you can correct us in the chat if you know better, is that maybe if they didn't have time to get all the coins, only the people that they filled the coins up with would come into the game. Yeah. And get the shield. So I guess what they were doing was just doing them one at a time.
Yeah.
Right? Because like if you diversified them and then maybe get nobody to come in and nobody gets a shield, maybe.
But I mean, all the same. Maybe it's whoever's down or whoever's the closest. Because I don't see them being like, yeah, please bring new players in just for a shield.
But I mean, for a shield, a lot of them would. For that first shield, it also gives
another player. That's like one other, like, your risk is better to not get a shield than it would be to bring a full player in and then maybe get a shield.
But even though that round, though, nobody was going to be eliminated, or it wasn't going to be voting the people that, you know, and so they also weren't going to be eliminated. So it would bring, for the future rounds, just more possibility that it's not going to be you, right? There's going to be more people to choose from.
True.
I know, but you do want to get people out. But I think it must have been. I think the shield is beneficial.
I feel like they
also gains an ally.
Yeah, I feel like it was probably like, I'm bringing these people back in the game, but maybe if you get them down by a certain time, you get the shield or something. The cage was borrowed from UK.
Yeah, I haven't seen this episode in the UK yet. So I don't really understand how it's supposed to have been done or what wasn't explained to me. But
and maybe it's just a matter of us going back and I probably will do that. Well, actually, because I still have to watch these 3 episodes with my husband. So I'll go back and when I'm watching that one, I'm gonna pay extra close attention and let you know.
So you're cheating on your husband with the Traitors?
Listen, he went ahead and watched season 2 of Squid Game without me last week. So what did Rob say? Revenge is a dish.
It's a dish best served cold.
Mm-hmm. So, you know.
So I wrote down, oh, sorry, what's his name? Bob is so mad about Bob is so mad at Boston Rob's fashion sense. He's like, if I lower you down, Rob, will you lose the hat? It's a fashion crime.
Was it this episode that Rob was like, I've been wearing this with a blazer since 88 or 87?
Yeah, 87, yeah. I think it was 88, but yeah, I think he said it right there.
Yeah.
Danielle then wants Derek on her side. We see that Wes getting some love from Wells. Everybody's kind of buttering up these people because what would suck is if you didn't put their slot in, and then they did come into the game, and then now you look like someone that doesn't want to work with them. So exactly. I think it's a bit of a catch-22.
Yeah, 100%. It's like you need to show that you want all of them in the game. You need to wave at all of them. Was it who's the girl?
Chanel or Ayan.
Yeah.
Right?
Heartbroken. Yeah. Heartbroken.
No, she was so funny though when she was interviewing Wes.
Are you on TikTok? It killed me. Are you on TikTok? I was like, this girl, I know I'm jumping ahead, but I truly fell in love with her. Episode 2, I was like, this is my girl. I am so excited to watch her this season.
Absolutely. So they ended up getting all the coins in the slots. They lower all the 3 of them down. That means that 3 shields are going to be released that they can distribute to whom they want to. And they did manage to get $15,000 towards the pot. Mm-hmm. So Tony wants to work with the gamers, which is what we expected, all the gamers to work together. We learned that Rob has been playing poker since the age of 8, which I know that he's a poker player. I didn't know how long he's been playing poker for. And so I definitely loved hearing that I already know that he's really great at reading people, but it's nice to hear that he's been doing it since he was a kid.
Yeah. You can see the difference in his skill level. And again, I won't jump ahead too much, but I am team Boston Rob. He's born for this.
I know.
Truly.
So at least you're impressed already by him? Even if he ends up going out, it will be he'll still be a very good player.
He's got a natural ability to understand. He's watching different interactions. He knows how to interact with different people to say the right thing, but also control the situation in a way that it doesn't seem like he's trying to control it at all. It's art. It's pure art.
Art?
Art.
Did you actually say art?
Art. Art. A-R-T. Art. How would I say it?
That's what you were saying, but then it did not sound like you were saying that. wasn't even trying to make fun of you here, but it sounded like you clearly said "arf."
No, art.
I'm sorry.
You know what? I think there's something going on with me this week. Because I was trying to talk into I've got a TV that you talk to the remote. And I was trying to get Traitors on yesterday. It never understands me when I say Traitors. I cannot say it properly. It always puts a D in there. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I just don't. So I understood that. But then I said crave and it kept saying crank. And it was I know I don't sound like this. What is going on?
Oh my gosh.
Maybe it's just the week. I don't know.
That was just very funny
because
I thought it was some sort of maybe slang that I never heard of before, but no, you were saying art.
No, yeah, art. Yeah, that's my. I don't even know what to blame. It's just I don't speak clearly this week.
It's your accent. I don't hear it all the time, but I definitely heard it there.
It comes and goes. It really does come and
Imagine
go.
like you had to get like a Newfoundland accent remote.
I feel like they should exist. That is something that, like, how many times have you seen a Newfie on television and they needed subtitles? Like, and it's not even just that the accent is so thick. We speak really fast. Like,
Yes.
we're really fast talkers and we process things like it's speed of light, right? So
I don't know if we talked about it on here before, but it just reminds me of the time when Allison and John Party got drunk and they're doing that mission, and then by the time when they were wasted,
I understood every word.
Like drunk, excited, super fast talking, definitely needed subtitles there.
Yep. Well, I remember watching that episode and I understood everything that they said. I was like, why are there subtitles? Like,
well, or even the time when it's like subtitles, it was like question mark, question mark.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I know exactly what they're talking about. Like, I remember watching that and being like, yeah, I mean, obviously I knew that it was sped up and it was hilarious, but I still understood every word that they said.
Tom is telling Caroline that he feels good with her. Or no, telling them. I said it's telling the new people that he feels good with Carolyn, Bob the drag queen, but he's definitely sus of Chriselle and Jeremy's. This is Tom speaking.
Tom with the bad reads.
Already has the bad reads.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle wants to kill Rob right away. I was like, you will not be able to. You will not be able to. And I love Danielle, but I'm very worried for her this season.
Yeah.
It's not, in my opinion, as bad as Dan was as a traitor.
Yeah.
But she is not doing much for her legacy, in my opinion. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to lie. When I was watching episode 2, it first hit.
Yeah.
And then episode 3, it really started to hit. But episode 2, I was watching it and I was like, Danielle is reminding me of myself. And even the way that she said how she wanted to murder Boston Rob, it didn't air, but I sat in the confessional when they asked me who I wanted to murder. The first person was Kevin Martin. And I didn't, but I had a plan to he was going to get murdered. But obviously things got complicated. But when I was watching Danielle, I was like, it was a little traumatic. It felt like some flashbacks, and I'm thinking no, because I such high hopes for her. But it's well,
we do see Danielle talking with Derek, so he kind of roping him in on what's been going on, as a faithful, which I think is good. She does have room still to pivot and bounce back.
Absolutely, and if there's anybody who can, she's got the skills. It's just bring the puppy back a little bit. You know what I mean? It's a little bit she's happy where she is. She's happy in her role, and we just need her to rein it in a little. Well,
she needs to be playing a little bit better.
Yeah.
She thinks she's doing a lot better than she actually is. Olivia thinks that Tom is the new Trana. I like Trana.
No, we love Trana. Nobody is the new Trana yet. If they are the new Trana, loud and wrong, they also need to be super likable. Because
funny
and
make the best friend at the end. There's a lot that needs to happen.
I still think about Trana. I know that Traitors Canada isn't over that long, but I still think about her when because now what I do, I add into my day. If I'm thinking about something funny and a song will go with it, I'm in my Trana voice in my head, Siri, please play Without Me by Eminem or something like that. That's in my head now all the time. And it's Trana started that. So thank you, Trana.
Love Trana. I wonder if she's watching this season. I think she.
I feel like she's gotten bit by the Traitors bug. So
okay, so she's going down the road.
Ask her. Maybe she'll come on.
So Jeremy tells Bob that Wells' name came up or is coming up, and so you're a bit of a Wells defender. What do you think about Jeremy now, kind of pushing Wells in front of the bus?
I mean, I didn't like it. I was upset. Again, jumping ahead, the outcome sucked. I was so upset. I thought, and you know what's funny? I don't watch Bachelor and stuff. I didn't know who this guy was, but episode 1, I was like, I like this guy. Like, I think he's a fun character.
He's married to Sarah Hyland, if you know who that is.
That's why I like him. Okay, I have seen him before. I follow her on Instagram. But I didn't like, no, I just maybe have seen his pictures. But yeah, like I thought that it would be like, I don't know, I thought he was going to be a good, faithful. I thought he was going to do well. And then, yeah, I didn't like him being put in front of other people, but you know, you got to kill people off as the show goes on. So I'm not going to have a funeral for him, but I didn't want to see him go this early.
Yes, Jeremy is aging like a fine wine.
I didn't see young Jeremy, but yeah.
He looks exactly the same, to be honest. But like, if that's what aging is, I'm like,
I don't know if there's a non-good-looking person on this cast.
Well, they're all pretty.
It's an attractive cast.
Definitely pretty good looking for sure. Yeah. So Wells tells Dylan about his convo that he has with Robin, where he's suspecting Robin as. I know that you support this, but I really just think that it wasn't I don't know. I'm not in the game. I've never played, so I don't really know. But like going so hard on somebody that you don't actually know for sure is just not. I would think it's not the way to go, right? Like when you don't really know anybody, you don't really know who people are working with. You don't know her that well to be 100%. I know it's like I saw her reaction. Like this is what it means.
They just go off. Everybody, the second that they're there, they're like, "You're a traitor. You're a traitor. You're a traitor," and it just becomes this crazy thing. And confirmation bias is so real. Like it's like. And I probably used this example before, but it's like if you don't like somebody and then everything that they do pisses you off,
absolutely.
You're like, you know what I mean? Like, look at this bitch over here eating her sandwich like she owns the place. Like, that's how it is when somebody thinks you're a traitor. Everything you do is the most suspicious thing in the world.
It needs to be studied.
That's the beauty of it, too.
I think I'm going to maybe write an article. Kevin Jacobs, who you know, he has like a newsletter. Yeah, the confessional. So maybe I'm going to write about like
you should
how what is the psychology behind just like the group think and the confirmation bias of the traitors. Like, why does that work?
So it's like what we had mentioned earlier when we were talking about like the strategy would be the 3 new people, pick them off one by one. One of them's going to be a traitor. Like that's what makes
I just have to put it out there. We'll get to it. But Derek said it in the beginning of episode 3 that he's like, I know I'm a faithful, but these 2 over there, I know at least one of them is likely going to be a faithful. So just saying.
Listen, but I agree. I knew that it's going to come up, but like, so what I mean by this is that like how it needs to be studied is like, that's obviously the way to play the game, the strategy of it. Like that's what you should do. But the thing about the traitors is because there's so many different levels and layers is that when somebody comes in to tell you that this is the way to play the game, you want to follow suit because it sounds smart, but you're also suspicious about the person who tells you, or you automatically, like, it's hard to trust. It's hard for a group to stick together because everybody points their fingers at each other. If that makes sense.
Olivia says he published an analysis on their Facebook group around the psychology of traitors. Interesting. Well, I might do something similar. I did not copy you. I will not read your article until after I create my own.
I'll read them both if you want to send it to me.
I'll read it after.
Or pin it. You could pin it in the Facebook group. Actually, I posted like that we were going live here in that Facebook group. It's very successful. It's a big Facebook group. There's lots of fans over there. So if you're here, Olivier, maybe you could post the link or the name of the group here or something like that. Because if you're a fan of the show, go join that group on Facebook because they talk about it all the time and it's a lot of fun.
So yeah, no, I totally understand what you mean, that it's hard to get people to join a thought process that
they all blame each other.
Smart. I get that, but I think that there's a lot of enough gamers that they can grab a group of people
for the sake of the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I just was like, I feel exonerated right now because
but I knew, like,
immediately, you're like,
I wasn't
to think of that. I'm like, what?
No, I knew that like the theory would be there, but I don't think that they're gonna get together and do it, is what I was saying. Like, I know the theory is gonna be out there. I just don't think that they're gonna actually like do it.
Sure. Okay.
We should.
So the round table comes up and Bob the drag queen just starts off by saying Wells, and and brings up the whole Dorinda situation. And I also thought that Bob was being a bit heavy-handed here with like throwing out, like there's such a finesse with throwing out theories and then also like wanting to contribute, wanting to appear to be a faithful. It's just becoming quite convenient that Bob and Danielle have all these theories, and this is it's just a bit heavy-handed.
They like add up almost perfect. Like, yeah, they're being very they're getting obvious. They're getting obvious. And it's hard to watch because I want to root for the traitors.
I mean, I'm still rooting for them, but like
it's tricky.
I'm worried for them. I'm worried.
Yeah.
So Wells now thinks that it's Robin or Sam. They're the two traitors, and I'm like, Sam.
It was so random. It was
Sam's
so
like,
random. Yeah.
Like Sam was basically like, nobody thinks that I am a traitor. Like nobody.
I don't think I'm gonna like him. I know I came in here with like a preconceived opinion, but when he said that, like nobody thinks I'm a traitor or something, I was just kind of like, I gotta take those glasses off because I was just like, I don't like you. But maybe it's my preconceived notions of him being Brittany's ex. I don't know, but
I don't care about him, to be honest.
I'm not loving him.
Like, he's fine. I would have, if I in the beginning. Now I know a little bit about him. If I had the opportunity to shake Boston or shake Alan's hand, I would do that. I'd bring Boston Robin, and I would probably get rid of Sam. Like, I don't really know him, but I know who Boston Rob is. I know what he has to offer. I feel like I can at least work with him. So
yeah, like he feels
asking me what I would do. That's what I would do.
Yeah, he's dud-ish. He's got dud energy, you know.
Yeah, like okay, so nobody thinks that you're a faithful, or you're a traitor.
And like, why would you say that at the table? You're gonna get murdered. I don't think anybody thinks I'm a traitor. It's like, okay,
he doesn't know how to play though.
Bye. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he would be somebody that I'd be getting rid of probably. Like that's why I've been surprised by their choices, because I'm like, get rid of the people that are causing zero drama whatsoever and make people go ballistic.
Yeah.
Just being like, why? I don't understand why they would do that. Like, I think that that's more effective than making somebody a suspect.
100%. It's so hard to frame people in this game unless it's like the most obvious, like head-butting duo. And even then, people think it's a double bluff. Like, it's very easy to try to understand exactly how people are going to react to something. Right. So sometimes you have to just make these calculated moves, and they're not really, I don't think they're that calculated. Like I didn't like the first move for sure.
Yeah, I can get behind it.
Like a little bit better. Yeah. Like I didn't like this one better because the person that I really enjoyed is gone. But and again, I might be jumping ahead, but I did like the idea that this one was confusing. You know what I mean? Like,
so Sandoval throws out Chriselle and Jeremy. I'm like, okay, this guy just needs to get out of here.
Okay. But can we say, is this where Chriselle? No, never mind.
Chriselle, yeah, I think it's where she says you caused the most chaos, Tom. No,
I think that. I think I'm jumping
to her vote.
Her vote. Yeah, it was beautiful. Like such a good line.
I didn't write it all down, but she said something too. I didn't. I should have. I thought I would remember, but I didn't.
She was
I thought that I would have probably gotten to say it, and I would have remembered exactly what she said.
Yeah, it was something about like a traitor is a liar and
a cheat and deceitful
and deceitful, and you are. I know for a fact that you are all of those things. I was like, very fun.
Bob the Drag Queen wants people to speak up, and then Danielle decides to speak up and throws out the housewife theory. And I'm like, Danielle, you're doing too much here.
It was cringy. Like, it was hard to watch.
I was just like, chill. Like both her and Bob, like they're kind of drinking their own Kool-Aid. Mm-hmm. They're enjoying the smell of their own farts here. Like they're just not being like clear-minded.
It's my favorite saying I've ever heard. I don't think I've heard that.
You never heard people
I'm gonna say it.
Enjoying the smell of their own farts.
Like I've heard it, but I haven't heard it as like a phrase in this context. You know what I mean?
Like I never either, but I felt it was fitting because like they're just loving what they're doing. Like they're really, really eating it up.
They're hyped.
Ivar's theories thrown out by Dolores. So yeah, Dolores is suggesting maybe Ivar is the one that took out Dorinda.
Mm-hmm.
It's a possible theory. That's kind of one of the reasons why they chose her. But
his name does keep coming up.
His?
Yeah, but it's just Ivar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, his name does, like, it seems to keep popping up, but I don't know if production is not showing us something, because I don't see why his name keeps popping up. Like,
well, I think it's because in the next episode, what Bob says, he's like, if you're faithful, you're a shitty faithful. If you're a traitor, you're a traitor. You're not really doing anything either way. So like, you gotta go. So
he's got like floater energy.
Yeah, it's kind of like Sam. Sam's not really bringing anything into the game, so like we're not seeing much of him. All right, so the votes are so Nikki votes for Nikki Ian? Did she? Did Nikki really vote for Ian?
I don't remember.
I mean, I wrote it down. It must be true, but like I put a question mark. Maybe I was like, why the fuck did that happen?
It feels like days ago.
I was like, it was daylight outside.
Oh
Sam votes for Wells. Ivar votes for Dolores. Ian votes for Tony. Bob, Ivar. Dolores, Ivar. Wells, Robin. Danielle, Robin. Gabby, Robin. Jeremy, Wells. Tom, Wells. Chriselle, Tom, where she says the famous line. Tony for Wells. Bob the Drag Queen for Ivar. Robin for Wells. I think what Bob's doing is he's not voting for the people that have been going out wrong, so that people won't maybe start to track his pattern.
He was setting them up. Yeah, I haven't had an issue with his voting. I thought his voting has been good.
Yeah, I'm just noticing now that he voted for Ivar again, so he's being consistent there.
Yeah.
So like if Ivar goes for the long way, long haul, like he can still hide behind, like, I still think it's Ivar. I still think it's Ivar. Like, I've been voting for Ivar every single time. Like, you guys haven't listened to me. You know what I mean? Like, he'll have that in his pocket for forever. Robin votes for Wells, Brittany, Jeremy, Sierra, Ivar, Dylan, Robin, Carolyn, Wells, which was the final nail in the coffin. And Wells is going to be leaving the game. He goes up to the circle of truth and he said, playing a smart game isn't always smart. I am a faithful.
And everybody's shocked.
The clapping, was that to reference Big Brother season 20?
So I don't think it was. I really don't think that he did it for that reason, because I don't know if Big Brother 26 was on when they actually went away for filming, because they filmed a while ago. Yeah. I think that's just a beautiful coincidence. But I think that he did it to give them a second to think that they caught a traitor.
Yeah.
I think that he started off to be like, because see the look on people's faces. Everybody was like, did we really? And then he's like, no, you're dummies. And left.
So the 3 shields still need to be awarded. Bob, who did Bob hug? I didn't write it down. Oh, well. Ayad is very upset. Her and Wells were getting along very well. Mm-hmm. And so she was sad to see him go. Dylan thinks that it has to be Bob the drag queen. And he's telling this to Ayad, Robin. And remember I was saying to you that I'm like, oh, I don't know if Robin actually believes in this, but like it was
the same thing when I was watching episode 3. I was like, Chantele was right.
Sorry, I wish you'd have recorded that as a quote. That would have been great.
That's why I said it low and weird.
So Wes then talks to Rob about the shield. And Rob, but it decides to end up giving the shield to Tony. And Rob and Jeremy are the only connection? Oh, his only connection. So I guess Rob ended up giving it to Tony. Or sorry, to Jeremy.
Rob
gave it to Tony.
To Tony. And that ends up being a really good move. Like that ended up being, I think, like I don't think he gave it to Tony with the anticipation of what happens next. But I think that it just the universe shines on Boston Rob, and it just ended up being a really great strategic move.
So why do you think it's a great strategic move? Not that I disagree, but just
like for when, like not a strategic move when he did it, because it like he couldn't have planned what had happened. But like we're in say episode 3, where like, you know, spoiler alert, when Tony goes, and the way that Rob was able to turn the tables and say like, Tony, I don't trust you because I gave you this shield yesterday and you haven't spoken to me since. Like I just thought that that ended up being really convenient, that Tony is who he gave it to, and the table started to kind of go after Tony, and it was just a great opportunity for Rob to come in and look very innocent.
Right, got it. So that's one great thing about Rob is like he takes all information and he uses it to his benefit, and so that's just why what I think makes him one of the greats is because he's very adaptable and very observant, and like he knows that he doesn't know how, but giving Tony that shield will benefit him.
Yeah, it truly did. Like I'm set. I'm here to watch Boston Rob. I'm becoming a fan.
I mean, do they have a name? I was in love with him when I was 20.
Do his fans have like a the Boston Robbins or something?
Boston Rob stands? Like I don't know. Chat, tell us. Let us know. Is there a like for the group of Boston Rob lovers? Is there a fan name?
Can we make one up?
We can make one up. I'll have to ask ChatGPT. It'll help me out. Derek likes and trusts Dylan. What I think is interesting is maybe it's because Dylan is an Aquarius, so they get the way each other's mind works.
I don't disagree because I'm very interested in this and it seems to all like fit. But I think Derek just gets along well, like with
young guguys.
Yeah, like bro type.
No, but I think yes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So. Like him and Cody were super tight. They're still besties.
Yeah, like he gets like the vibe, the bro vibe.
He's a detective, like like so he's usually with probably mostly men. But I think he also likes being able to strategically talk to some people, and I feel like he just gets a good vibe with being able to chat with Dylan.
Yeah, he knows that Dylan is trying to learn the game and actually like his wheels are like, and I feel like Derek you can tell with Dylan. Dylan is, you know, I'm a little worried that
he's getting good theories, but like it would be so sus if he goes out.
He can't die now, but like I am a little worried like as it goes on that he might get murdered, because I think he's going to become one of those like guaranteed faithfuls.
Yes.
And if he starts to get it right and traitors start to go home, you know.
Well, and he wants to be like the faithful of all faithful. So that could be worrisome for his game. But right now it's too sus. So I think he has some room right now.
But so I definitely do think Derek can feel it. Like Derek sees it in him. And it, like you said, like he wants a strategic mind and somebody that he knows he can trust.
Yeah, because like I feel like his thought process, and it could be because I'm Aquarius as well, but it's just I feel like he understands the way his brain is working, and like it makes sense to him how he's gluing these pieces together, you know, like the evidence that he's using is valid. It's not just, you know, some of these trivial reasons that people use sometimes. Like he's like, I think he agrees with his assessment on how he is sourcing out the traitors.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll be very interested. Hopefully what doesn't happen to him is that he gets a lead on somebody else and he goes for somebody else and then he's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, because right now he has a lead on Bob, right?
Yeah.
And say that he decides to like, oh, well, Brittany's also been acting weird and goes for Brittany or something like that. And then gets people to rally behind him for the Brittany. And then it's now going to be like, Bob's like, see, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you know what I mean? And it's going to take the heat off of him or put heat on him for not being a good traitor hunter and take heat off of Bob.
Yeah.
So I'm worried. So Wes gives Jeremy the shield. Wes is just blatantly kissing ass. Wes loves kissing. Like he's so unapologetically like, I'll do whatever it takes to win.
He's funny. Like, you know, I get like it's the most recent episode, but he said something about like I go the them not me. like game. It might be episode 3. He says, you know, for me, I like to play the them not me game.
Oh
and
yeah,
I was like, I like this guy a lot.
well, that's the way he's just like, well, and then you hear Jeremy's like, we're trying to find a faithful, and Wes is like, oh, I'm just trying to stay here to the end. I don't
yeah, he's like, cool, because I get picked the wrong guys to talk to. Like, yeah, no, I'd get along with Wes. I enjoy him. Anyone but me, yeah.
If you would, well, he had some times where you would probably hate him in his youth when he was, you know, younger and on the challenge, or when he was on the Real World, he was a little bit insufferable at times, but I've grown to become a big fan of Wes. I do like him. He's just so obnoxious.
I like when people grow. You know what I mean? Like 20-year-olds I rarely like. They've got a lot of growing to do, but like, yeah, like give me somebody in their like the 40s is like the age that I know I'm not there yet, but that's where I gravitate. Like that's the group I like.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, I mean, I grew up with him. He's like what, like a year or two younger than me, so he's
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely Wes's character. Yes, I agree, Ruby. And I don't take his antics too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know what you get from Wes is that he's going to try hard in the challenges. He wants to win. He will do whatever it takes to win, and that's actually good to know about somebody because they're not going to surprise you. Like you know that they're going to always put themselves in a situation where they're going to have the best shot of getting further in the game. Yeah. Whether it's with you or without you, they will do that. But he's also pretty loyal, which is good.
Okay. All right. He's going to be fun to watch. I like that they're like, this is Fergus's, like I'm young Fergus or Fergus's son or twin or something like that. And I also like to say we have not seen enough of Fergus in those first 3 episodes.
I think he said long lost brother.
Yeah.
When we say that. Oh, I think it was before the next challenge. Maybe. Yeah. Or maybe.
It might have been the first, when he was first introduced.
Maybe, but I feel like I wrote it down, but maybe I skipped over it.
Yeah.
So it is midnight and we see Derek telling Dan. Wait, who's Dan? Dan? Is there Dan? Who am I right? Why did I write Dan? Gave Dylan shield. Derek telling Danielle.
Oh yeah, okay.
Danielle that
sliding into the similar fate of Dan.
That he gave Dylan the shield. Got it.
Got it. Yeah.
So it's the turret time. We see Bob is a bit scared. You know, the new group is they're looking at Bob, like all the new people that came in. They're just everybody's just kind of looking at Bob, and he thinks that he's playing a really great game, but they're people are looking at him. But then we hear a knock. They wonder if it's Alan, but no. Is Boston Rob. Reveal. End of episode. On to episode 3. So Carolyn is definitely wary of Rob. She knows that he's a big gamer. She's from Survivor, so she knows his lore and legendary. And Danielle would rather have Rob on their side than against them, which is true.
Yeah.
But it's just like I'm just thinking that Danielle might be outmatched. There's a lot going on in this game that I don't think that she's seeing.
I'm really nervous for her.
Because like she's kind of has like a one-track mind with like she said that she wants to be 20 steps ahead, but she's actually not even like 3 steps ahead.
She's not in the same day. Is what I'm finding. Like she's where she wants to be. Like in her brain, she's like, I want it to be this. But she's missing a lot of the different pieces of the puzzle. And I think it's really hard too. Like when people are on to you in this game, they're not telling you the same stuff. So you can't play the same game because you're not having those discussions. And like, it's different from she's used to Big Brother. This is so much more fast paced because the second that the camera's cut, you're not allowed to talk game. So like the relationships that she has with people, what if they're not talking a lot of game with her? You know, like she's missing a lot of the puzzle. And I know from my experience, there was one day where I literally said to the camera, like, nobody's talking to me. So they're talking about me. Like, I know they're talking about me because I'm not getting it, you know? So there's probably a little bit of that going on. Like she's got people, but she doesn't have her ear to the ground on everything, you know?
Which I think she thinks she's in control than she actually is.
Yeah.
And she doesn't realize that people are buying her shit.
No.
Rob thinks that they're a bit of a motley crew here. Everybody's so different. He lets them know. Say it.
I loved it when he's describing. He's like, I walk into the turret and I'm like, well, who have they given me? What is this hot mess? You know, like that was good TV.
Well, Dylan has a shield. They let everybody know that. Rob says Jeremy has the shield and that he gave Tony a shield. And so they know who not to try and murder.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it could also be good to maybe try and murder, but you want to get someone gone. But that
would be funny.
Exonerate the people that just came in because they would know who would likely had them. But
like, how cool would it be if Rob just kept his mouth shut? Like, I feel like this would be the strategy, but like, I'm only thinking of it literally now. So it's like not something you're going to think of right away. But like, what if Rob came in? He has a shield to give out. They make him a traitor. Why does he not give that shield? Like, okay, so he gave it to Tony, but like, I feel like it would have been a really smart idea to give it to somebody and then not tell anybody. And then when you get to the turret, get them to murder the person that you gave the shield to.
Oh, so that basically say, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So the next day you come in and that person's like, no, like I had the shield. No, it's not necessarily going to exonerate himself because all three of the shield people will be safe, but then they'll start thinking like they must have gone for somebody who had the shield. And it will make it, I think, a little bit less suspicious. You know?
Right. So that's what I was kind of saying. But the only thing is that they wouldn't murder somebody. And so you kind of want to get as many people out of the game in the beginning as possible. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, maybe try and make it not know who has the shield. And like, it just would make it, it'd be good. It would be a good play.
But it would also be a very selfish play because like you're going in, you don't know who any of the other traitors are. And you're doing this fully so that people would think that you're not a traitor. So like it's starting off not on the great foot with the other traitors, but I still think it would be
it also like you kind of want to come in since he's coming in late in the game, or a day late, is that you kind of want to build trust with them because they could easily just throw you under the bus and try to get you out of the game, right? So he's coming in with information. Information's always power, and the fact that he's being forthright and honest with who he gave the shield to, I think it allows for them to trust him and want to work with him. So yeah, you can't be too sneaky in the beginning, especially when you're Boston Rob and they already don't want you in the game.
They're expecting you to be sneaky at the beginning. You need to be like,
chill. So Bob thinks that it should be Dolores or Robin that goes, and he's not leaving the turret until like that's what you were settled on. And I was like, I don't know if that's the best idea.
Bob's starting to get really dictatory.
Yeah.
He might be Bob the dictator soon and not Bob the drag queen because he's starting to bark some orders in there and it's not being received well. Like we saw that he did it before Boston Rob came into the game. I can't remember the situation, but I thought I saw him like get like that with Carolyn and Danielle for a minute.
I don't remember specifically.
I might be thinking of something. Yeah. But like, he's got to be really careful because like you say, he thinks he's queen bee right now and that he's the one in charge of everything and he's making the decisions and pulling the strings. And it's like, it's bad to be a cocky traitor, but it's worse to be a cocky traitor to the traitors. Because
they're just like, well, why do we want to protect you? Like, bye. So Rob thinks that they are beating a dead drum or it's beating a dead horse.
Beating a dead horse, yeah.
Beating a dead horse, but like I put beating a drum. Did he say beating a drum? Anyways, he basically he's saying that Dolores and Robin is just like, okay, we've already done this. We got the housewife like mania. It's like we need to pivot, and I agree. Like you don't need to beat that same drum again. You already did it. But Bob will hear nothing else. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this is what I mean. So like that right there, not being able to bend will get people to get you out. Like, period.
Dreadful says he was watching Sharon Sharp with Tyson earlier, and she called Bob the Dragon. LOL. She legit thought that was their name.
I love her so much. She's so funny.
So then Carolyn suggests Brittany. And the way that Danielle shot that, now then I'm gonna look like I'm guilty, blah blah blah. I'm like, but it also could be the double bluff. Like, you'd be like, why would I take out Brittany? You guys know that I have a problem with her. Like,
oh my God. Like it was, so for one, I think Carolyn fully did it to set up Danielle, 100%. But the next morning, and I again, like it could have been fine for her to do it, but
oh, okay, yeah.
Danielle oversharing again the next day at breakfast,
Let's just
like,
get there. Hold on one sec.
Okay,
So
I'm pumping.
I thought that it was actually a good idea to maybe just like have it out there to like do the double bluff, and like she could play off like, no, I absolutely wasn't. It wasn't me. It wouldn't be me. Like that just would be stupid. I think it could. I mean, it would be extra work, and so like you don't necessarily want to put your name out there in that way as a target, but like
I think it would be really good if she had, like, they buried the hatchet a bit, but I think it would have been really smart for her to bury the hatchet with Brittany publicly, and like a very, very like, okay, these girls are clearly working together kind of way, and then do it. Like, say they buried the hatchet right away, and then they work together for like a full 2 days.
I mean, I don't know if I trust Danielle's acting skills with this whole thing. Like,
well, this is the problem, right? Like, yeah, but I don't know. I think it could have been a decent idea, but also like, if Danielle's afraid of it, like, how much beef do they have in that castle? Like, are they bringing the beef now? Does everybody know that they have
I don't think so, but I thought it was just so weird for her to shut it down so adamantly. I was like, it's not a stupid idea, actually, Danielle.
I do think that Carolyn is I truly do think that she wants to do it to frame Danielle. Like, I really do. I think Carolyn, like I saw a lot of what you were saying in episode 3, where she's definitely like, bah, all over the place. But I think that she knows kind of like what she wants. She doesn't really know how to get there, but like I think she wants Danielle gone. And I think that her saying
she doesn't like working with either her or Bob so far.
Yeah.
And like she hasn't worked enough with Rob yet to really know. So
I think it was on purpose.
The first people that come into breakfast are the new additions, the Cage Boys, the new boy band name that was coined by Wes, which is him, Derek, and Rob. They're first in. That's when Derek said, more than likely one of them is a traitor. I'm like, yeah.
Yes, I know the theory would be there. I still don't think they're going to gang up together.
I know. I'm just fucking you. And Danielle in her confessional, and it's actually painful when she's like, just follow the queen traitor here, with like her like, oh, I'm gonna be so good at being a traitor right now, so good. Oh, like it's like so bad.
It's such good TV. It's such good TV.
It's mortifying though.
Yeah.
So Nikki wants to know everybody's thoughts around about how the roundtable went by. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good. I would love to hear what they had to say about it. And what did Rob say? He basically said that like he was surprised how like much everybody was going at each other, which is true. I would have wanted to hear more about that.
Yeah, it seemed really intense. Like they could not get on the same page.
It would have been great, but then somebody else came into the room, so we had to cut that short. And it was Tony asking them, "Are you going to tell who you gave the shields to, and like, are you allowed to?" And they basically said, like, if I could, I probably wouldn't. And I thought it was also funny when Wes was like, "Well, I don't talk to cops."
Yeah,
I was taught to talk to cops.
Yeah,
true. Cops are the enemy. And then I was like, okay, oh my God, Danielle is doing too much. She throws out the theory that Brittany, who do you think is going to be coming through the door? Like, well, it better be Brittany, because if it's not Brittany, then someone would be throwing me under the bus.
Knowing Brittany is coming in and saying that is the most like, okay, so we know why you didn't kill Brittany, so that you could say this, so that we would think you're not a traitor. Like it was hard. It was
I don't know if it was just edited this way, but Rob's expressions were just like
no gold. No, and his confessional too of like Danielle needs to stop talking, period. Like she just
he
didn't
thinks that
talk.
she's doing too much.
Yeah.
She's gonna bury herself. I'm like, I think he's gonna let it happen though.
Oh yeah.
Like
He
maybe
wants
not
to
yet,
work
but
people he can
soon.
get. I can see him and Carolyn actually working well together and getting
Well, because
Bob.
Boston Rob, as much as he can be a little bit of a dictator himself, like he likes running the show, he likes it his way. He also does listen to people.
Yep.
He's in some of his seasons, he's befriended the people that nobody wanted to befriend because they were fiercely loyal to him. And so
Yep.
you don't know who Philip Shepherd is, but Philip Shepherd was a really, really exhausting, annoying character that he was his like number one ally. And he was able to manage this person that like nobody could stand in the game and brought him all the way to the end. Yeah. So I could see Carolyn playing that role because Boston Rob will listen to her.
She admires him. She's afraid of him, but she admires him. I think that they would work well together because everybody else is calling her a weirdo. They're like, she's bananas, she's batshit crazy, and all this stuff. Like they're isolating her. Rob is going to be that big hug, bring it in, and they're both traitors. They're going to work together. They're going to get out Bob and Danielle, and I don't know what happens then, but I think they're going to team up and work well together because I also think that Rob can control her without making it seem like he's controlling her.
That's his specialty.
Yeah, and I think that she would still then get a voice and be able to make decisions. And I think
he's just like the type of person that you just want to do what they say. Like even on Deal or No Deal Island, he had people most people were like eating out of the palm of his hand, you know?
I think I would be. I do. Like even going in well aware of it, I think I'd be like, "Want to be friends? Do you want to be my friend?"
I would, but look at who he befriended, right? Aaron, like someone that was a little bit more of an outcast personality. So I could see him bringing Carolyn in for sure. 100%. Next in is Bob H, Chriselle, and Jeremy, and then you see Wes flirting with Bob. I was like, okay, Wes, flirt away. Bob was blushing.
Wes. I'm enjoying him.
Brittany, Sierra, Carolyn come in. Dolores, Bob, Ian, and Tom. Did Ian come in? No, she couldn't come in.
No.
The people that hadn't come in yet. Sorry.
She was murdered.
Dolores, Bob, Ian, and Tom were the people left to come in. Chriselle's praying that it's Tom Sandoval.
Same though.
No. The people that came into the room was Bob, Dolores, and Tom, meaning that Ian was going to be murdered in the night. I
was heartbroken.
Dolores did not take this well. She's like, "What are you guys, housewife hunters?" I mean, I think it's kind of a lame. I think they should have honestly did that one. Whatever. If you wanted to do the one, do what's her name? Dorinda. Right? Yeah. Okay, fine. Do Dorinda, and then you can still have it on the back burner. But go target somebody else and like cause some more suspicion somewhere else. Don't keep on going at the housewife things because no one is really going to think, in my opinion, that Robin or like Dolores are traitors. Like,
do you think that they're doing it because Phaedra was so like under the radar last season?
But they're not like Phaedra. These two.
No, but nobody thought Phaedra was like Phaedra last season. Like they like everybody was really surprised once it got there, you know, like.
But like I knew as Phaedra's personality from beforehand, and she can like she's
got that.
She has that. The other two don't have that same like chutzpah.
Yeah,
Phaedra's a lawyer. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
She just had the chops, and I just don't think those two have the chops.
Right.
From what I've seen, anyways. Ian was murdered, and she's like, "Why? I'm not a threat. Who the fuck murdered me?"
I love that. I was like, well, I was so sad to see her go because like I'm really enjoying her, and then they murder her. But that like look to the camera and like the who the fuck murdered me, I was like, this is just mean. Like I was so mad. I'm like, I want to see more of her. I think she would have been a really fun character on the show.
And I wanted to see more outfits.
Yes.
So enter Alan, the Real Housewives of Dubai. and throws her picture on the ground, and Dolores goes and
So
picks up. Like, I can't leave my housewife pictures on the ground. She picks them up.
yeah. Alan is so good. He's shining.
Yeah, he's definitely shining this season. I mean, he always shines, but he's
There's
really
more.
leaning into it.
Yeah, there's more. Like even when they go to the mission, I was like, he's doing so well. Like he's crushing it.
So this is what you were mentioning before, that Caroline is a bit annoyed by everybody, that nobody's listening to her, and she goes to talk to some of the girls, and then Jeremy comes in and he does comfort her. I think he feels as though she's not a traitor whatsoever, and he wants to have her as an ally. She's from Survivor as well, and so I do like that he's taking her under his wing a little bit.
I like Jeremy. I like him.
Great. He's a winner.
Yeah, he's very lovable. He's strategic. And he seems just like a nice guy. Like I love that he brought her in. He's like, hey, listen, and he's like, us survivors, like we need to stick together. Like this is us together. We're gonna take if somebody's gonna get the new ones out, it's him. Like that's the group.
But maybe not, though, because if the survivors have to stick together, he's probably not going to go for Boston Rob unless he waits till the end. Like, would this be a kind of nice story? Is like, he works with Boston Rob, works with Carolyn. Maybe he knows it's all the time it's Boston Rob, and in the end, he thinks that him and Carolyn are taking out Boston Rob for the win, and then he finds out that Carolyn is a traitor and she wins it all.
I think you just wrote the story. Guys, you can go home. You don't need to watch any more episodes. That's it. That is the show.
I don't think that's going to happen, but that would be pretty good.
It would be really cool. I'd like to see that.
So Jeremy tells Carolyn to watch Janelle. She's acting funny. She is acting funny. She's acting strange. Like,
it's like flashing lights. Traitor. It's
not acting like a normal human being playing a game.
Yeah. She's acting like she's a traitor doing a really good job at it.
Or no, a traitor doing a great acting job at being a faithful.
Yeah. That yes. And it's
like even when she was like, oh, can you pass the whatever? Like I was like, oh, I don't know. Everything you're doing is sus to me, but
it's a lot, yeah.
Wes talks to Robin, and Robin thinks that Tony is a traitor. And I don't never really thought that Tony was a traitor. I don't know if it's because I have all the evidence, but I didn't see what they were all seeing to be pointing the finger at Tony.
I feel like it's with him, it was confirmation bias. I feel it's like he said, he's like, they're judging a book by its cover. Like they fully took everything he did on Survivor and his big reputation and thought, we got to get him out. There's no way they're not going to pick him as a traitor. And then I really think that's all it was.
Probably. Yeah. And just like, yeah, like we don't trust you. You're too, I don't know, you're acting weird. Okay, let's just get you out.
Yeah. I think it was like fair and like they thought probably that he would get picked as a traitor, but then also like afraid of him because he's done so well. So
I mean, Boston Rob has done well too. Wes has done well as well. Like these are all winners. Wes has won the challenge 2 times. We know that Derek has won Big Brother. Boston Rob, he's won. His wife has won. Tony's won twice. Like Carolyn's final 3. These are all people to be feared, I would say.
Yeah.
Nikki needs to watch everybody today, and so is Tom. Tom is going to watch, and she's like, well, not the way that you watch, because the way you watch is creepy. And he's like, it's just my face.
Yeah, you get a creepy face, Tom. It's creepy. It's a very creepy face. And you get weird, like...
I have to say, I'm not a Tom Sandoval fan at all. I was, like, really, really disliked him with what he did. I never really liked him before that. But I see in him in this game a little bit of like the little kid that nobody played with kind of thing. And there's a part of me that feels a little bit bad for him because, and I was just kind of, and I feel like he's actually kind of having a lot of fun because he probably hasn't had people interacting with him like this in a while, and like just kind of just treating him normally and not just being an outcast or like him having to defend himself. And so I feel like he's really, really enjoying having interactions with people that's not just about him being a dirtbag, you know? So.
See, Chantele, this is how he reels you in and then murders you and buries you in his backyard.
I mean, I'm not going to go on a date with him, but
but if you're going to be like, oh, hey, you're not that bad, let's be friends, and
no, that's not me. But like,
I'm
watching him on the show, I'm going to have a little bit of compassion.
Yeah, it's so tricky because I honestly get that same way. Like whenever I see people, like the worst people, I'm always like, but you don't know what their childhood was like. Like I do picture people like what makes and shapes somebody into the person that they become. And like my brain goes there a lot. So I'm trying not to do that with the show. It's hard. Like I completely see where you're coming from.
Dreadful here says he's the least insufferable he's been in a while, frankly. LOL. Mm-hmm. I would feel bad, but I've heard him speak way too many times, only through Jolene's rose since the affair. He's the absolute worst. Yes, he's the worst. He's the worst. Like him and his Victoria's girlfriend right now, like they're the worst. Like everything about him is the worst. But on this show, he's not the worst.
Well, like to be fair, if I didn't know the background now, I would still think he's very, very creepy, but I would probably think he was a little bit funnier than I think he is.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely judging him since finding out. Like there's judgment. 100%.
So.
Yeah, there's judgment. But yeah, so I probably wouldn't think I still think he's creepy though. I thought he was creepy before I knew the story, so.
Okay, so Wes and Tony are talking. They don't think Wes doesn't think that Tony's a traitor, which like Wes is good also usually
good
at reading people for sure. Stillion's chatting with Gabby, Nikki, Bob H, Rob, and Jeremy, saying that he thinks the two of the traitors are Robin and Bob the drag queen. So this is why I think that they might force him to do Robin, which is going to discredit him, which sucks.
Yeah.
But not this episode anyways, but I feel like they might come down the line if they keep on this housewife thing. But that's why they can't do it, because like once they go through all the housewives, who's going to be left? It's going to be Bob H and then Danielle and Bob, and who else? There's nobody else that was on the dock. Right?
I know.
Because like the first two would be Dolores and Dorinda, so it would just be Dolores that would be left there. The next one was Chanel Ayan, and who was she with? Oh, the other housewife.
Dolores?
No, Dolores was with.
No, she was first.
With Dorinda. Oh my God, who's the fourth housewife? Oh, and Robin.
Right.
Robin and Ayan. Right. So it would be right now we only have two housewives left. If they take out like Robin, and then they take out, we have to just finish off with the housewives. They take out Dolores. The people left is going to be whoever Bob was out with, and then Bob the drag queen and Danielle.
And then
she was with Sierra, right? Was it Sierra?
No, Danielle was with Bob. Danielle was with Bob.
No, but Bob H.
I guess sorry, I'm a blankie.
Bob H
was with Sam.
Oh,
Sam,
yes.
I guess sorry, yeah.
General says Robin Dolores bore me. I wish we could swap the housewives. Yeah, I like both of the other housewives better than those two. I
was thinking the same thing.
Dolores in the show, like she's definitely not as wild. She will pop off at times, but she's quite metered. Like she's very level-headed. So yeah, I would have loved the other two to stay over these two in the entertainment world.
100%. Like the other two were already bringing entertainment, and then the Traitors like, nah, we want to be the only personalities here.
It's so annoying. So Dylan, though, when he's presenting his theories, he's like, where did the Wells theory come up? Like, where did it come up? And he's smart. Yeah, he to talk about like how like look at how Bob brings it up, and then he goes in another direction, and so like how he's laying out his case is very smart.
It's good evidence. That's actual threads to pull at. It's not, he scratched his nose or drank water. Like that's actual theories that could lead to something, but he doesn't have the clout yet. He needs more
Social
Social
capital.
capital.
I think he might get it. He just needs an ally
Yeah.
that has a little bit more power than he does. And so
I
I think
think what needs to happen is Bob needs to piss off Boston Rob, because Boston Rob is already friends with Dylan, like it seems. And I think that if Bob pisses off Rob, then Rob may stay on Dylan's side and stop deflecting for Bob.
well,
You know,
I could see, or also maybe allowing them to kill Dylan to get them to be thrown under the bus. You know what I mean? I could. He might sacrifice Dylan.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah, I could see that too.
So we get to the mission. It's $35,000 is on the line. They have a fun house here. They're 2 players to a star. They're going to partner up, and they're going to enter the fun house carrying a gold balloon. They have to go between 4 rows of 4 doors, and if they can get through to the end, the first pair will win a shield. And every pair that gets through, I can't remember how much money. I think $2,000 was.
2,000 was each pair. Balloon. Yeah.
So this was a like kind of like there wasn't a lot of room to make a lot of money, because unless you were very lucky the first time, there's no way that you were going to be able to get through.
You're going to have early sacrifices.
Exactly. Again. And so nobody was wanting to volunteer to go first. What would you have done?
I wouldn't have volunteered to go first. Like, I would have been the same, because, and the funny thing is, there's a lot of gamers on this season. So, like, it's not smart to go first in this situation if you're trying to get the shield, or even if you're trying to get money to the end. So, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to go first. You want to go somewhere close to the end. But once you get through that big old, like, everybody arguing with each other, whatever, then probably you could be like, okay, listen, guys, somebody's got to go first. It's not like it's only 2 people that are going to get the shield at the end. It's not like episode 1, right? So realistically, after a little bit of time, I probably would have been okay with going first or second, to be like, you know what, fuck it. Like, I'll start it off and try to explain your way through. And then you'd almost, like, once everybody says somebody's got to go first, you almost kind of want to take the reins at that point and go first and be like the leader of the group and try to get as far as you can.
Now, I guess they just didn't include this in the instructions, but like, why would it have been like, the first person goes to the first door, the second door goes to the second door, the third door. I do that for every freaking row. Like,
but I guess too, like, they probably didn't know where the doors were. Like, I think that's something that you say once you go in the first and you see the doors. You can say, guys, there's 4 doors all in a straight line. I'm going to start at the one on the right.
They must have been not able to use directional cues. They must have only been able to describe the door, because it just did not make sense why they just wouldn't say left door, second from the left, third 100%. Door.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
So they had to describe these doors to be able to hopefully get through the correct one. But I wish that they got to solve something maybe beforehand. So that
it was literally just random. It was just a guess. There was no way, like, even they were like, well, this door has 4 circles instead of 5. It's got to be that one. And it was like, haha, like, there was no way to actually figure it out, right? So, and
I wish there was a way to figure it out, because that would have been better for me.
I agree. There should have been some type of strategy or gameplay involved, other than describe a door so that you can remember. It was very Squid Game Bridge.
Right.
Like, you just got to remember the pattern for the person behind. Like, the person behind you needs to remember where you died, and that was it, right?
Yes. But like, I wish that for the fact that they're trying to build money, you know, that at least the first 4 people, maybe if you got lucky, less, but likely it'll take minimum 4 people to get through, which is 4 duos, which would be $8,000. They would have to lose no matter what.
Yeah, either that, or have them do it individually instead of duos, or have less doors. Like there needed to be something different. If it was going to be random, it was just too much random. Like,
Drevel said they were bad at describing the doors. Yeah, they were. Yeah, but I just feel like it just was surprising to me that they didn't do better. So, yeah, and Dreadful here is saying that the UK, they got more lucky moments. I haven't seen this challenge yet, but like, it just didn't seem like a challenge that worked that well.
Yeah, and I agree. Olivia says it only works if the group plays as a team to relay the information. And I feel like there is something to be said about that, because this cast seems like they don't want to play as a team. They're all
I think they were playing it. They just weren't good at it.
They're just
like
suck.
If they describe the doors better, then you know what I mean? Like, I guess
the people outside couldn't communicate with the people inside, could they?
I guess they couldn't hear them.
Yeah, I think it was just the people inside saying things.
Right, so that they can hear to know for the future. So yeah. I'm not sure what could be tweaked other than maybe having some sort of way to decipher which door you're going in. Then you can still describe the door, but you can describe the right door, right? Maybe only the first person that gets to the thing will have the clue or something. I don't know. I don't know how to make it work for sure, but it didn't work that you could get it wrong. Like, there's no way for you to figure out how to go through the first door.
Even if they had excuse me, even if they had a riddle that would like narrow it down to like 50-50.
Or the people outside solve the riddle and give it to the people inside, and then they have
to get the
information on the door or something.
Or the people outside just see the right door and describe it to the people inside. But then there's the picture one in Traitors Canada.
Exactly.
That would have been fun. That would have been really fun.
Something.
Come on, US.
Are you scared of clowns?
Like, I don't have a clown fear, but I certainly wouldn't want to run into one of those anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, if I see a clown, I'm like, it's a clown. But if I see that, I'm like, get me out of here.
So just Robin and Bob volunteer to go first, but then Bob the drag queen is pissed that they're also, volunteering themselves again. So then Bob H challenges Tony, saying like, you always have a lot to say, but then you never actually step up. And I was like, oh,
it was so aggressive to me. I was like, maybe
but like Tony should have maybe said like, hey, I feel bad about yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't want you guys to think that I'm not a team player. So like, Nikki, do you mind if we go first just to like,
I don't know that necessarily. Like, I think that Bob H was just a little out of line in that to just call out Tony. Like, there was a lot of people on those boats the day before. And yes, I do agree.
I think though Tony was the most vocal, and then he didn't do anything. Like, he's like, because remember he was like, well, like, okay, let's decide like, who's going to be getting off the boat if we're going to go get the money. And they're like, well, like, why aren't you putting yourself into that equation? So I think that we probably didn't see. He was probably more aggressive with like wanting people to make a decision, but him not offering himself up.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a lot of frustration in the group too. Like, they all seem to be like, there's the loud ones and the quiet ones, and the loud ones hate the quiet ones. Like, they're like, say something. Why is nobody speaking up? Like, even at the
I hate quiet ones, to be honest.
You know what I mean? Like, there is like a disconnect in that group, big time, and it's fun to watch.
So first up is Nikki and Tony. They didn't do well at all. Their descriptions were terrible. Derek and Jerry, like, why is it so hard to say what the descriptions were? I didn't find that to be very challenging of a.
Do we have notes about Brittany's commentary?
Oh, I mean, I thought I'd remember it, but basically, if you remember it.
Yeah, no, just basically like, I feel like we're, in kindergarten and we're learning our numbers and we're learning our shapes and our colors, but we don't quite have all the right colors. So accurate.
Yes, very accurate.
Yeah.
Second group was Derek and Jeremy. Third was Carolyn and Tom. Fourth, Dolores and Bob.
Yeah.
I wrote ha ha ha. They were confused and they got it wrong. So wait, was it Bob H? Yeah, it was Bob H that went with Dolores, and like
he was pretty loud at the beginning, getting mad at Tony to go in there and get it like that wrong.
So then, well, I mean, it could also be their descriptions were not like, they're kind of confusing.
Yeah.
So I was like, give them a little bit of leeway here. And then I kind of stopped because they started doing like the montage. Dylan go.
It was very like, it was a cool concept, but a boring challenge for the most part.
Yeah, the final pair was Wes and Sierra, where I thought that they were at least going to get through the whole thing. They had their theory on the last door, and it was a wrong door as well. They got the clown. No money, no shields were won from this mission, which kind of sucks.
It was like it was not satisfying. It wasn't like really fun to watch. It wasn't, you didn't get any kind of a reward at the end. They didn't get any money. It was just kind of like blah, you know? At least do it. You know what would have been cool? If they did that. I love it when they do the questions to get to know how everybody feels. So what if they did
Oh yeah, for like wrong guesses, right?
Yeah, about like the majority. If the majority gets the answer right, you get a clue for what door. Something like that.
Or you get to bypass, like you get to try again.
Yeah, like there should have been something like that that was like that would help reveal people's games or thoughts or
100%.
like absolutely they need to just add something there.
Needs to be
Production, call us. Please.
So we get back to the manor. Jeremy is sus of Danielle. He feels it. And Bob's like, Bob the drag queen's like, I'm telling. So he wants to play this game with Danielle. He wants to get to the end with Danielle. So he is telling Danielle about Jeremy being sus about her.
Yeah.
Which I also don't think that we don't get there yet, but she doesn't even handle that well. I'm like, what's happening to her?
It's spiraling a little bit. I think it's the game. It's a hard game. It's so hard as a traitor. Like, I know it's the easier, but it's hard.
I definitely think it would be hard to be a traitor. But the fact that when Bob was like, okay, we have to talk, Jeremy said your name. He's like, why would he say my name? And it's like,
no, my favorite, she's like, okay, you don't need to tell me anything else. Why did you say it? Or she's like, say nothing more.
You're crying. They're crying. And I was like, and she's probably like, my Oscar performance?
I'm amazing.
Oh.
Then
Carolyn joins and corroborates that story, being like, yeah, he did tell that to me, whatever. I thought Danielle might said, oh, and you're not telling me right now? Like, I thought she was going to be.
I might not have said it to her, but I would have noted that and been like, okay, so Bob came right to me immediately. Carolyn has obviously known this for a while because they weren't together when it happened.
Yeah.
So she's known this first and didn't come to me. So like, I might not confront her, but I'm going to pocket it. Right. Yeah. She wants her out. I really think Carolyn is, I don't know if she's doing anything, but she wants Danielle gone.
Yeah, they're not getting along for sure. Chriselle, Nikki, and Gabby are the Bambis. They all think that Tony is sus. I love the Bambis, though. They're cute.
It's really cute.
Dylan again, though, says Bob, the drag queen. And I'm like, oh, Dylan, though, you got like, he's getting advice from Wes, and Wes is like, hey, like, if you're gonna make this shot, like, you got to make sure that it lands. And Wes, basically, we mentioned before, is like, I don't know, just be like, not me. Like, you don't need to go after someone. Like, just let the chips fall, right? Unless you're gonna make the shot and it's gonna hit. Like, because what if you are right, but you don't land the shot? Then they have information that you know about them that they could spin things to make you look bad. Like, he didn't say all those words, obviously, but
don't sacrifice your game on a 50 shot, like sacrifice your game on like 95.
Wes thinks it's a rookie move, which it is. It's a rookie move to want to take a shot and when you don't know you're going to land it for sure, unfortunately. So Jeremy tells Bob, the drag queen, that Dylan is coming for him. Bob goes to Brittany and Nikki, though. Like, I thought Bob was going to, like, go off on Dylan. I was like, okay, Bob, that's not good. But he was just going to go see Brittany and Nikki. And he's just pissed about it. He's going to go off. He's going to go off at the round table. I'm like, I know that it's part of your brand and your personality and your style of gameplay, but... like,
might not be
popping off on somebody, it becomes distasteful at some point. Like, why are you so mad about it?
Why are you so defensive? Yeah.
So Jeremy does not want to call out Danielle yet, which I'm like, that's the right play, Jeremy. Keep this information in. Don't tell anybody. And just gather more information until you can gather your army. But he doesn't say anything, which is good. Rob doesn't want to necessarily protect the traitors, but he wants the traitors to stay in the game. So he might have to put in some work with like helping them, because Bob and Danielle, they're not on life support yet, but
they're at the hospital.
Yeah, they might be feeling a little bit of something in their tummy, and they might have to call 911. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're getting there.
So we get to the round table, and Dylan's like, I can start this.
Mm-hmm.
And he points out the whole Wells theory, and that he feels that though, Bob the drag queen and Robin were the ones that were kind of pushing this theory, what he's talked about before. And Bob retaliates. He must have practiced some of these retaliations, because him putting the puzzle pieces together, and you come with the puzzle pieces, and you bring you slam the puzzle pieces in front of me, and then you ask me all of us to put together the puzzle pieces, but you put the glue in, and then you put it up on your wall and take all the credit. And I was like, you must have pre-thought.
That wasn't on the spot. Like, you've said that before. You said that in your audition. Come on. So like that's that.
Gabby does not think that Bob the drag queen is a traitor. Even if she did, you always want to say that. Like, I think that he's a faithful, so that he'll keep you in the game.
Yeah.
So she points to Tony and calls out Bob. Wait, who called out Bob H? Tony did? Was it Tony?
Yeah, Tony. Because Bob H, like, no. Somebody said that.
Oh, telling Gabby told him that he pointed the finger at Bob H.
Yeah, because he did it earlier that day. He didn't do it at the round table, but it got brought up at the round table.
Right. So Bob and Tony have a bit of a back and forth there. Bob talking about how he sacrificed himself, and that Tony, just has been playing a little bit more selfishly or whatnot, and playing a little bit more traitorous. Jerry does step in and says, like, for the record, I do not think that Tony is a traitor. Mm-hmm. And even though that Tony has done him wrong in the game, he still wants to stand by Tony here. Robin thinks that Tony could be trusted with could be trusted with the job, and so she feels that he would be somebody that was would be a good traitor. And this is what we said, like, whether he's a traitor or not, people are going to think that he would be a good pick for a traitor, so they shouldn't pick him as a traitor because it would be too obvious.
100%.
They're playing into the producer's hands here. Poor Tony. He has to take the sacrifice for this one. Dylan is just so calm, though, I found, with any of the redirects that were happening. Like, he didn't allow Bob the drag queen, from what I could see, to intimidate him, really. Because he got pretty big, and, like, I could see a lot of people cowering with that amount of energy.
Yeah.
But he just took it. I was like, okay.
Listen, I am quickly becoming a fan.
Like, do you have a crush on
Dylan Efron? I was thinking the same thing.
Aloof man.
I was watching and I was like, there's like that. I think that's some is it BD energy going on there? Like that's like a silent confidence. It's like I know what I know. I'll let you have your moment. You know what I mean? Like,
well, so with all the signs, they all have different verbs that describe them. And Aquarius's verb is I know. So we like to know, and he'll let you have it, but he will know deep down inside that he's
100%. Yeah. Fully agree.
And you can probably sense a similar vibe from me.
Same thing. A little bit.
Small dick energy.
Oh, sorry. Tom, yes. Fully. I thought you were still talking about Dylan. I was like, how dare you? That's our new boyfriend. But yeah, Tom, no.
Then Bob, this is another thing that he must have practiced when he says, "Welcome to the stage, misguided." That would be your drag name. I'm like,
so good.
Had to be practice. It was great, but it had.
I never even thought about the practice part, because when he said that, I was like, how are you this clever? Like, that was.
I mean, he is very clever. He's very, very clever, very funny, very smart drag queen. So absolutely. Cool. But he must have been thinking about this with how he's going to frame some of his rebuttals. You know what I mean? So, like,
misguided. That's good. That's art.
Dylan should make T-shirts after the season.
Oh, good idea.
So Rob calls out Tony, though, now for not talking to him after giving him the shield, using this as an opportunity to say that he doesn't necessarily trust Tony. And it really does make him look a lot more faithful and being like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I gave you the shield, and this is him showing the traitors that he's siding with them and he's
Mhm.
taking the heat off them
It
in a
was
way that
good.
was just so slick for most people.
Very
But
subtle.
we'll see if it lands with everybody.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
I thought that was a really like when he said that, that's when my mind was like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing.
And he asked Boston Rob, do you think I'm a traitor? And he's just like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think you are, but I don't know. And I was like, oh, God,
He's good.
so
He's
easy
really
to
good.
know. Oh my gosh.
You know
All right.
exactly.
Tony's starting to flounder a bit. He's like, do you really think I'm going to stand up there and say that I'm a traitor? And Boston Rob's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we get to the vote. I'm not going to read through all of them. Jeremy does a throwaway vote on Tom, though, which I thought was kind of dumb. Bob Harper and Bob the drag queen both voted for Ivar, right? Or maybe I put Bob H. No, sorry, Bob H. Bob the drag queen voted for Ivar. Bob H voted for Tony. Who else? Wes also voted for Ivar, which I thought was interesting. So he ended up getting 2 votes, and I'm wondering if they're going to push Ivar next.
Yeah, we'll see a little bit more, I think, about what's been going on with him and why he keeps coming up. I'm hoping like episode 4 is probably going to clarify that more, or they're just not going to talk about it at all.
They might not talk about it at all.
Either or.
Any other wild votes here? Dylan obviously voted for Bob the drag queen. Ivar voted for Robin. Interesting. So he does seem a little bit misogynistic. Just a little
There's
bit.
something there, right?
Yeah.
He's got a vibe.
Because I'm like, I just, something.
There's a vibe. There's fully a vibe. Yeah.
And then everybody else voted for Tony pretty much. So Tony is going to be leaving the manor. Please come forward to the circle of truth. And he talks about relationships, bond, and genuine friendships, sincere. And I could hear him choking up.
Yeah, he was upset. He was really, I think this was his shot to like, I can't even say play an innocent game because he wanted to be a traitor. So I don't know. Maybe he just really competitive.
He's very competitive.
Yeah, he's probably like, I can't believe I'm out this fucking early. This is garbage.
Well, he's very competitive, but I think the fact that he knows that Rob was the nail in his coffin with people.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe he still would have gone out, but people felt more assured with that when Rob was like, I don't know, like he didn't talk to me since like that.
Because what did he call Rob like when he's in the circle?
He said, "You're a sellout, bro."
Sellout. Yeah. Yeah. So that probably had more to do with him choking up than.
Yeah, I think it's because they're supposed to be friends, and that's the only people that he knows in the game, and he thought that he would at least be safe with Rob, but
like get out a few more people before you throw me under the bus. Like,
I mean, I think he couldn't stop the train, right?
Yeah. So he jumped on and was like, "Hey, this is a good place for me to hide."
Yeah, and also like he wants to show that he's a loyal, faithful to the other traitors. So
yeah.
He had to do it. So Rob, after defends being called a sellout, which I was a little bit nervous that he was like quickly waiting to defend that, but it worked out fine what he said.
Yes. And I feel like that's something too that was so unexpected and so obviously directed at Rob that it makes sense for him to immediately be like, I don't know why he I don't know why he just did that. Like, guys, this is how I felt. And like I think it would be, it was really unexpected for everybody. So I think it made sense for him to defend himself right away in that moment.
It just seemed a little bit though, like, I don't know. It looks like you're just like worried that you were called out, like you were outed, But I think he handled it okay.
Yeah.
Dylan does talk to Bob the drag queen, and Bob is like congratulating him. I'm like, oh, I can't believe that you went like toe to toe with me, blah blah blah. And I love that Dylan's like, you know what? Like speaking to you now, I don't think this anymore. But then his confessional, he's like, I still do. I'm like, yeah, you do.
I
Keep
think.
the enemy closer.
Am I gonna be like a fan of Dylan Efron, even though he's a faithful? You know what I mean? Like normally the faithful. That's a lie. I like a lot of the faithful. Anyway, yeah, I'm a fan. I like him.
I'm a fan too right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna hold his thoughts in from now on. Derek, though, he wants to keep an eye on Rob because of that whole situation. There's something fishy about it, which is true. There was
Pop energy, sussing it out.
We get a flashback to the traitors all getting a letter. They had to choose 3 players to put on a short list, and they had to put these names on a list in plain sight. They had to go into the bookshelf, into that small room while everybody is milling around, agree to the names, and write the names on this piece of paper in this book. They really want them to get caught.
They're like fun seasons have traitors go early. Like let's do this kind of thing. Like we've seen it where you don't get a traitor, you don't get a traitor, you don't get. They're like, let's give these people one of these.
I mean, I don't want them to get a traitor yet because I need to see this dynamic for a little bit longer, right? Because we haven't like I would have probably preferred just to see one more turret with the 4 of them. I just want to see the influence.
Well, because Boston Rob has already taken the reins. Like he's already calming the energy when they're all over the place and redirecting it, and he's masterful.
he's good. So the 3 of them do get into that back room, and Carolyn is just running around all over the place. I mean, the fact that all of them are just like looking in rooms and like being like counting people, I was like, oh my god, you guys are so sus, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll see if people catch them. And then at one point they do a lot of misdirects, but it looks like somebody might have found them in the secret room, but then it was Carolyn that was joining them finally.
Yeah, but even I'm jumping ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we do have a little moment where Gabby talks about like how all the people that have been murdered or whatever, but all the women, like all the traitors are women haters, and like I thought it was funny, just because I kind of think that there is a little bit of like a sexist type like divide that's happening in the perceived faithfuls.
Yeah, it is very interesting, and like honestly, the drag queen voting off. Oh yeah, I think that he's probably already gone. The drag queen voting off or like murdering the housewives first is very unexpected as well. So it's kind of like, it's not the best gameplay, but it's probably not the worst for Bob. You know what I mean? Like,
right, because he's like, oh, well, stop with the women. So it's giving him a little bit of a shield.
It's kind of like it's not great team strategy, but it's not bad solo strategy.
So they have the opportunity to. So basically, when they put these names on the letter, then they're going to have to put them in these coffins, and then the final nail in the coffin will be done to the person that's going to be murdered, or like murdered. So Rob doesn't think a traitor should go in. Because like right away Danielle's like, maybe Carolyn will do it. Like, well, she'll do it if we just force her.
No, Bob said it. Bob was like, do you think Carolyn will? And Daniel was like, I don't think she will. And that's when he was like, well, she will. Like, we'll make her.
Like, flipped.
Yeah.
I thought that Danielle was the one that said like she will if we tell her to, but if it was Bob, then fine.
Danielle was more so like we can try. Bob said, do you think she will? And Danielle was like no. And Rob was like, it's a bad idea. And then I think Danielle was like we could try. And like Bob was very much like, she's not going to have a choice or something like that. Or like she has to if we put her name down. He said something that was very matter of fact, like, oh, actually, we decide. And then Danielle was like, we could try to ask her. And Rob's like, no, like, guys, this is a bad idea.
And then when she comes into the back room, she does ask her. And I'm like, why do you want this girl to think that you want her to have suspicion on her, and that you don't want to play with her?
It's so frustrating to watch because it's like you need to be kind of buttering her up at this point, and it's just there's no finesse.
I mean, all she needs to do is be like, what do you want to do? We've decided that none of us wanted to go in it. Do you want to go in it? Is that something that you want to do for your game? And ask her, and then be like, no, okay, who do you think then we should have on the list? You know what I mean? Like, and they don't have a lot of time, so they kind of were panicking and freaking out a little bit. So like, I get that. They're just trying to be hurried and rushed because they might get caught, and how they're going to leave without. Is there people like how can they check and see if they can leave?
Also, they're all missing together.
Yeah, it's
huge
terrible. So Rob says though, like, I don't think that we should put one of the traitors in there because people will decide to try and take out one of the three people, which is all the same theories for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they narrow it down and take them all out. So it seems like they're not going to put one of them into the coffin. And that's where we're left it with it seeming like Gabby might have heard them.
I don't think so. I think that's a misdirection. Like, I don't think anybody's going to even notice that they were missing. I think that was done for suspense. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I will tell you that the time is short there, and just being able to get together like that is hard enough, let alone like having the discussion.
Yeah, I agree that I think that they're messing with Gabby for sure, or messing with us with Gabby.
Because even like Robin went in earlier, and at first I was like, "Oh my God, she can hear him." I thought she was going to go over and like listen by the door.
Yes,
but when that didn't happen, I was like, "Okay, this is not going anywhere."
So, lastly, before we sign off, who do you think is going to be on the list?
I honestly have no freaking clue.
Well, I think they said Ivar.
Did they make the list already? I don't think they're going to do Ivar because he was voted for twice already. It's going to be somebody who wasn't voted for.
They need 3 people though, so.
Well, they're going to say Dylan. They're going to put Dylan on the list because Dylan came so hard for Bob. They're going to probably.
That's a little bit sus, I would think.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're going to put him on the list for for TV purposes for one of the 3.
But like, but then he'd be.
Oh my God, don't mind me because they're going in the actual coffin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Okay, this is a totally different strategy. And then this is not just for the audience. This is actually for everybody to know who the thoughts were. Yeah, sorry. It's been a long day.
So I think I'm thinking they might put people in that have any heat on them to be a traitor. It's like they're trying to pin a traitor, faithful to be a traitor, I think, in this position, right? Because they're going to assume that they're going to think that someone in the box, one of the 3 people, are a traitor for sure.
So maybe Ivar, maybe who's the girl that they? I want to say Rhonda. Robin. So maybe Robin. Maybe Ivar, and then whoever they actually plan to murder. And I don't think it'll be either of those 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure who they're going to murder yet.
I'm trying to think on who would be. I mean, they could murder Sam. Because he did say at the table, nobody thinks that I'm a traitor.
Like, and then just keep 2 people that are like very sus in the game.
Yeah. It's an idea.
Or is there anybody that Robin or Ivar wants out of the game at this point?
Yeah, like frame them. Who did Ivar vote for?
Ivar voted for Robin.
You think Jeremy? Oh, sorry, I'm reading the comments. Dreadful Ruby said that she thinks Jeremy.
That's true. She did say that at the beginning. He's like, Jeremy's going to be one of them for sure. Like, because he's sus of me.
And you know what? Danielle hasn't been making good decisions. She'll probably put him in.
Yeah. So Dreadful thinks that it's a good idea.
Well, listen, it's true. Like it's very tricky because if she puts him in and gets him out, it leads back to her. But if she lets him stay in longer, he can get into everybody's ear. And
I don't think he's going to follow that too much yet, but
I don't know.
Okay, so Dreadful, we think she should strike now. Well, there's a few people that know that she's saying his or his name, but it's like mostly Bob and Carolyn. So maybe there's not other people. Okay.
Yeah, get him.
But like, yeah, I guess he won't have a chance to talk to people before he's in the box. So
yeah. I'm for it. I'm here for it. But I like Jeremy, but I'm here for the gameplay. Like, fucking do it. Bring it on. Make the good mistakes or make good choices, make bad mistakes. Like, just make me good TV and I'm happy.
Well, hopefully it will continue on. So next week, do you have anything you're working on you want to share with the peoples?
If anybody's looking to sell their house in Newfoundland, the market is really hot. Like, it's a good market to sell your house. I just did the market stats today. I did like a market report update and I was like, oh my God, I can't even get over this market. So yeah, but other than that, they can follow me on Instagram to see work shenanigans, reality TV shenanigans, cute pictures of my kid. And that's it really. It's just social media and real estate. It's my life.
Cool beans. Well, thank you everybody for joining us all day today as we talk about the Traitors USA season 3. We will be back next week. I have to look at my schedule. I think Friday will be our regular time at some point.
We're discussing Fridays. I like the Fridays work much better for me than Tuesdays. I don't know why I keep doing this. I noticed it today and I feel very Trump-like. I'm like, why do I keep talking like this? And maybe it's because I've been doing impressions at work, but anyway, I've stopped doing that. Stop it.
I didn't notice it until you pointed it out. So,
but now you're only going to see it. I'm sitting on my hands. We're fine.
Exactly. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next week.